Welcome to Eastern High School's Athletics Podcast. Today we join Coach Shep, Coach Graves, and Coach Graham as they recap this past week in Eagle sports. Also sure to entertain, each week we'll hear from an exciting feature Eagle as they discuss the week's upcoming matches and games. And now, here are your hosts, Coach Shep, Coach Graves, and Coach Graham.
All right, welcome into the Eastern High School Athletics Podcast. I'm your host, Athletic Director Joe Schepper. I'm here with my co-host, baseball coach TJ Graves, and PE teacher and assistant AD extraordinaire Dylan Graham. We have our special guest today, which is Riley Huffman, our head girls lacrosse coach for how many years? 11 years here at Eastern High School, one of our better programs. We'll get more in-depth with Riley as well as girls lacrosse as we get there. Also, I want to repeat, we are sponsored, as always, by our fabulous sponsor, East End Plumbing Supply. You know, last week we celebrated Scott Jackson's big birthday, but this week we're just going to repeat, if you got any plumbing supply needs, head on over to East End Plumbing Supply off Larson Trail. Tell them that Shep sent you. All right, so just full disclosure, we got a lot going on in this office today. We got Louisville playing North Carolina and girls lacrosse on one TV. We got West Virginia versus Maryland in the NCAA tournament in the other. So yes, so Riley might break out into cheering at some point during this, but we're also the day before. We're also the day before. Hey, we're also the day before Patty's Day. So my daughter was wearing this shirt today. Listen,
I have a question.
It had my mom bought them. And it said like Shamrock, and it had the rocks in one. And she was like,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah. She was like, and she said
that shouldn't be allowed.
My daughter said, she said, "What's this symbol mean?" I said, "It's rock music." And she said, "What's the song?" And I played this to get her all hyped up.
Well,
today.
I don't like the Shamrock.
Hold on, I gotta get it going
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's gotta get you hyped for Patty's Day. It's a big Friday ahead.
Hyped for preschool.
Yeah, get her hyped up for preschool.
Her teachers appreciated that.
Yeah.
A lot. My question is, a lot of students and faculty are wearing green today, and I'm confused at that.
They're doing a week-long celebration of St. Patrick's Day.
Jeez.
Okay. All right, so let's get into what I normally do. Okay, recap of the previous week. First up, baseball.
Let's go.
Baseball played South Oldham in their season opener. Eastern 8, South Oldham 5. Lynn, Brown, Chandler, and Carroll all had 2 hits, and Metcalf threw 4 shutout innings. Oldham County on Tuesday went up to Buckner and took care of the Colonels up there. Eastern 7, Oldham County 0. Jake Lynn, double. 3 walks and 3 runs scored. Carson Shee, not Owen Shee, double, 2 RBIs. Henry Craig, 4 shutout innings. Andrew Key, multi-sport athlete, 2 shutout innings and 4 Ks. Henry County last night, 12-1. Debut of the powder blue uniform.
City Connect jersey.
Yes, that say East End on the chest. Pretty solid uniform.
Why do they say East End?
Because it's the East End.
And
we're sponsored by East End Plumbing Supply.
Oh, okay.
So, also,
in Louisville, there's a South End, East End, West End.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are the East. Try to keep up here. We are the East End.
So I don't know if we can put images on this. Maybe our producer can get it on there. I'll have to ingrain this image of Graves in his powder blue uniform with his powder blue Jordans on during the game. Most ridiculous picture I've seen.
Do you have a gang sign?
I got swag.
I gotta show you. I'll show you the picture.
We got swag.
Look, Riley, look. Come on, that's just a fantastic picture.
This.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. Baseball 3-0. Softball, Central Hardin, which is a perennially decent team down there in E-Town.
Perennial decent.
I don't know. They went to state a couple times, but Bear and the softball team go down there. Eastern 5, Central Hardin 2. Hallie Roberts threw a complete game, 1 earned run. Chitwood hit her first ever career home run, and the girls come back with a W. Then they played Henry County on Tuesday. Eastern 13, Henry County 3. Really some
dominating Henry County.
Henry County had a rough week in
Shout
Middletown.
Out
They had a rough week coming to Middletown.
Henry County.
But Chitwood hit her second home run in that game. Morris had a triple and 3 RBIs. And then last night they went over to the Dixie Highway, took care of the Holy Cross Cougars.
All right.
10-0 over there. Game shortened by the run rule. Chitwood, Bella Arnold each connected on 3 hits. Ashley Robertson had 2.
Innings.
Hallie Roberts threw 5 shutout innings. That's some good-looking stuff,
Mercy.
and they're back in
Mercy.
action Friday against Butler, which we'll get into on the future stuff. Boys lacrosse. So boys lacrosse got underway this week as well. They beat Sayre 20-10. One kid from Sayre had 9 of their 10 goals. He was a stud too. David Miller had 6 goals. David Miller, legit. I've been watching these, and Tommy DeWitt, always reliable, 5 goals Eastern. Then faced Manual last night. They beat Manual 15-3. It was pretty much domination from the start. I think they were up 10-1 or 10-0 at one point. Yeah,
That's awesome.
They owned them up. Cahill Delaney revenge game. Took care of business. And then girls lacrosse. Girls lacrosse, we talked about their first game against Collegiate last week, but their game this week that they had was Manual. One of the better girls lacrosse games I've seen in some time. Our girls were down, didn't play great. I think they were down 2 at half. And then they came back, stormed back to win 8-6. Probably, no joke, the most physical girls lacrosse game I've seen in some time. I guess they just didn't decide to call fouls in this game. The minute I got to the game, one of our assistant producers, Sophie, decided to run across the field, body check a girl to the ground. I mean, it was just violence.
Grave said that was the best part. Or no, Graham. It was Graham. Graham said that
It was
his
by
favorite
far
part.
the best part.
I mean, it
of
was
that
just a
game. It was
straight
awesome.
check.
I
You
know.
just threw the girl right on the ground.
Yeah.
Knocked her straight to the ground. Didn't look at the ref. Just ran straight to the
Well, you
sideline
just
for her
have
little
to-
penalty
you have to
box
match-
moment
you
or
have to
whatever.
Well, let me
match
go over-
intensity.
So Hannah Hardyman had 7 saves. McKenna Whalen, Sydney Stumps were big on the defensive end. The Eagles' scoring was led by Lily Johnson with 3 goals, 2 assists. Kylie Flathers had the first goal to tie it up at 6-6, and then she had back-to-back goals to give the lead. And then Sophie, as we already talked about before, she kind of closed it out with the last
Do you
goal.
play defense? Does she play defense?
No, she plays offense.
So on offense, you're allowed to just plow them over.
I think she was angry. I think she got
think
hit in the
she was
head,
mad,
she
yeah.
said, and then she followed it up.
Ooh,
with,
Maggie! Look! There we go.
Okay, Riley's watching the Louisville
Cause
game while this is going
turnover.
on. All right.
Big dog.
So, girls lacrosse is 2-0. They got a big game we'll talk about here in a second with Sacred Heart. Tennis.
That's big.
Tennis got a win last week. They beat Spencer County in boys and girls tennis. Boys won 4-1. Girls won 3-2.
I didn't know they played tennis in Spencer County.
I mean,
Do they have tennis courts?
you can put concrete anywhere, bud. It's pretty
Tennis
impressive.
courts
Yeah.
in the woods.
Caden Chandler and
Drastic
Xavier
catcher.
Coots won in the singles. Victoria Wimberly won in the singles for the girls. That's all of our sports for this week. I'm checking in with Graham and Graves. You got anything to add?
I have nothing about sports. I have something about this podcast.
Okay.
I've been doing a deep dive on our own podcast. This is officially the #1 high school sports podcast in the state of Kentucky. Based on
Prove us wrong. What's
Based
that
on
We're going to have to get Doug Wilham to redo
What's
the
that
intro.
mean?
yeah, based
Prove
on
us wrong.
number of viewers and viewer satisfaction.
If you want to prove us wrong, bring
number
data.
one.
Bring
How many
data.
views do you average per episode?
About 200.
Oh, all right.
We got a crowd, dude. We
Yeah,
got a
we
crowd.
do.
We got a crowd.
If only they could be here. In real
17
life.
of those are like my kids watching it over and over. Coach Shepper's mom watching it over and
And
over.
us trying to listen to it in the
Right,
gym
right.
on like 17 different devices because we can't hear
But
it.
stats are stats, bro.
And Big C.
Stats
Shout
are
out to Big
stats.
C.
Yeah.
What else?
All right,
That
that's
was a really
Oh,
big stat.
I forgot to also say.
That was the
I forgot
deep
to
dive.
also say that Riley is our first female guest on the
Yes.
show.
Yes,
So this is
yep.
we are branching out.
Title
We're
IX.
diversifying our
Title
guests.
IX.
Title IX.
Title IX. We're
Title IX in the podcast.
So whenever you want to insert your female opinions into this male-dominated podcast, you can let us know.
Okay. I mean,
Okay.
I did when I walked in. That's what I told Graves.
She did.
He's mad.
She did. She owned this place.
Yeah.
We'll
Gotta
get
have
into
We
it.
cross
do have
on
lax
the-
games tomorrow.
We got
I
it.
was
We're
just
getting
saying
to it.
lacrosse, not lax.
What? Don't even try to. It's
Graves, follow the
next.
script.
All right.
Oh.
Next week's events. Okay, including the lax games tomorrow. So, boys lacrosse. Boys lacrosse hosts, and I want to say this right. I guess it's DeSmet.
D-Smet is what I heard.
DeSmet. Okay,
Yeah,
DeSmet, which is out of Missouri. Are they from St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big private school. I looked it up. Like they're 2,000 strong private
I think he
school.
said they had 100 kids on their roster.
Yeah. Well, they were the runner-up in Missouri last year in lacrosse, so they're
That
no
doesn't
joke.
say a
and
lot,
they're
though,
coming. Well, they're
actually.
coming here and they're playing St. X the next game. So I'm going to go ahead and
Oh.
assume that they're not coming to just get
Right.
worked. So
Okay.
it's like Pete Rose told me one time. Pete Rose said they don't ship horses across the
No.
ocean for no reason,
No,
Shep.
no.
If it says Ireland
No.
next to it, he's winning that race.
Is this
Okay?
a real name drop, by the way?
It's a Pete Rose name drop. All right, so that game is Friday at King Louis. That game is at 5:30. Both of these games are kind of early. We'll skip to the girls lacrosse. Girls lacrosse, well, we'll put them last because Riley will talk about it. Softball has Friday. They got Butler here at Eastern. Butler is the 2021 state champ here in the state of Kentucky. Humble brag. At Anderson County on Monday. Anderson County is probably pretty good. They're usually pretty good. And then they have Mail on Wednesday. So that gauntlet that Bear has laid out for the beginning of his season continues. Baseball has Madison Central at Eastern on Friday. Graves, Madison Central.
Going to be a great test, great matchup. They're very talented, very well coached. It's going to be a great baseball game.
Good team.
Yep.
At Collins on Saturday. And then not George Rogers Clark. We had that. That is Great Crossing. Great Crossing at Eastern on Monday. And then Mail Wednesday at Eastern. Thoughts on Mail?
We have beat them 2 out of the last 3 times. We call them puppies, not bulldogs. They're the male puppies.
Feeling confident against Mail.
Male puppies.
Okay, and then
print a T-shirt.
At Atherton on Thursday.
Yes.
Okay, so track scrimmage. First track scrimmage is today at Ballard, and then they're going to Nashville next weekend for a big trip. Tennis's season opener is next Tuesday.
You just said they won last week against
Spencer
County.
It was a scrimmage. Close enough. But their season opener is Spencer County on Tuesday, and then not Spencer County, Shelby County, and then Oldham County on Thursday. So let's get to girls lacrosse. So let me first preface it by this. We haven't gone into depth on this. Our spring sports are currently undefeated.
Okay. All right.
Undefeated. Okay, boys
Right.
lacrosse 3-0.
No pressure.
Girls lacrosse 2-0. Baseball 3-0. Softball 3-0. Tennis 1-0. Okay. However, Friday's a big day because we just said the boys play the runner-up from Missouri.
We played the state champs.
Graves is saying he's playing a tough game with Madison Central. The girls softball, they're playing Butler, who's won a state title in the last 3 years. It's going to be tough to keep this undefeated streak going.
It's on the table Friday.
And
it's St. Patty's Day, so we're feeling
and,
lucky.
and Riley and the girls lacrosse face off with Sacred Heart, or as they commonly call them, Shaw.
Shaw Sisterhood.
Okay, Shaw Sisterhood. So
question is,
hold on. Game times are 4:00 JV, 5:30 freshman.
5:30 varsity.
5:30 varsity, and we're accommodating some Sacred Heart event that they all need to get to. So, how do we feel about this game?
I mean, we feel good. We always feel good, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're the one telling us.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
How many they returned from this team that they were state runner-up last year?
They have a decent amount of solid returners.
Okay. So
it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a battle. We have a decent amount of solid returners.
We do.
Some of them wake up and choose violence like Sophie. But regardless, it's going to be a battle.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you think, have they played KCD yet?
No.
Have you played KCD yet?
We scrimmaged them.
How did that go?
Not our best performance.
You don't want to be the best in scrimmages.
No.
You want to be the best at the end of the season.
We didn't want to show
You want to peak early. Ask the baseball team. They were the best team in the world.
Don't want to peak early.
No, and you don't want to show them what you have up your sleeve. So.
Right.
Okay.
No.
So, does that mean that we're going to hold some stuff back Friday, anticipating playing them in the postseason?
No. We got to get some reps.
Okay. Cool. So you're feeling good about this game.
Yeah.
Come on out. We want a good crowd out here.
We need a big crowd.
We're anticipating some rain, so we're going to have to put some work in on these fields to make them usable.
I would like to play on football also.
Okay. So we
can't say no.
Ideally, we would be moving it to some people.
Yeah.
We will have that
Title
game
IX.
on Eastern's campus in Middletown. On Eastern's campus in Middletown. Okay. Other things coming up, Sweet 16 basketball, J-Town lost. I just want to touch on that.
This is an Eastern podcast.
Mail won, just a kind of a recap. We'll see how that pans out. I think probably most people know our feelings on those two teams. March Madness going on. Who's your pick to win it all, Graham?
Kentucky.
Okay, Graves.
Alabama.
Riley.
I don't know.
Say Texas.
Say Louisville.
Definitely not Louisville.
I'll take Kentucky, sure. I feel like that the world's really against me as a Bengals fan, so I might as well have
The
my
thing
have.
that would make you the most
Alabama's a
miserable.
solid
Yeah, the thing that would
pick.
make me the most miserable is if Kentucky just continued their dominance.
You got a great left tackle today.
Yeah, we did. All right, so checking in with Graham and Graves. Got anything else for next week?
No.
All right.
No.
Anticipating seeing a lot of people at the Sacred Heart game on Friday. The other big games or you can get Sacred Heart and you can get Madison Central. If you come up to Shep and you say, "Hey, Shep, unlock the gate. I'll let you sneak into the baseball game if you paid for admission to the Sacred Heart game." Okay, so that's my one offer.
The Shaw coach said that we were filling the nest.
Okay, I'm strictly anti two things in Eastern world. Are you ready what they are?
Yeah.
One, I don't like Lady Eagles because there are female Eagles. We're Eagles. We're
non-binary
here, okay? Right. Secondly, I don't like
We're non-binary Eagles.
We are. We're just Eagles.
I totally
We're just
agree,
Eagles.
dude.
We are very woke.
Okay, so
We're woke. We're so woke.
the second thing I don't like is the nest. Like it seems more inviting than it should be. Like if you're going into somebody, it should be the pit or the cage, not the nest. Like that's come to the nest and play us. Like, oh, that sounds nice. I'll go to the nest.
If you go to a mama's nest and you're not invited, that mama is going to raise hell.
So you feel like baseball teams coming in, if you had a giant sign that said "Welcome to the nest," like they would just be really concerned.
You're gonna get whooped anyways. Don't matter.
Yours would probably be the coop.
The coop.
Welcome to the coop.
The chickens.
The fighting chickens.
Fighting
coop.
chickens, yeah. I like that.
All right, so Riley Huffman, special guest, deep dive on Riley Huffman, the person, coming up.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. So, number one. Oh, Graham asked the question. Sorry. Or Graves. Sorry. I'm all well off. Graves asked the question.
No, I don't do Harry.
Hold on.
Are you assuming I'm asking a hair question because I'm bald?
Because he's bald. Yeah, you can't do his hair.
These are tough questions.
Okay.
We like to start off small, slow, and then gain some traction.
All right.
First one. What is your favorite source of caffeine? We hear you coffee.
Yeah.
No,
but specifically Coffee Crossing in Indiana. I drive to Indiana every single morning to get coffee.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, every single morning.
Why?
Do they want to sponsor a podcast?
I would love to ask them. Yeah.
Do they have great beans?
They have the best coffee in the whole wide world.
What? Okay. Is it their beans?
I don't know.
It's just good.
It's just the best coffee.
All right.
It really is.
All right.
I've been a lot of places. I think it's the best coffee.
Okay. All right.
Best coffee.
You're not.
I'm drinking Scooters right now. I know, but
Hold
it's
on.
It's right here. I've already been. I went early.
So is this your second?
This is my second coffee.
You've already been to Great Crossing.
Coffee crossing.
Great coffee.
Coffee crossing.
You got Great Crossing on the mind because you got
how many
George Rogers coffee?
Just two.
George Rogers
Just
coffee
two,
and the
just
cross.
Just 2 a day.
Just 2 a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here's the next one.
Okay.
I think lacrosse is a girl sport without question.
What? I don't know how Phil's gonna feel about this.
You already.
Full disclosure, I'm giving you props.
Okay, all right.
It's a girl sport.
Lacrosse is
I'm
non-binary.
supporting the lacrosse, push. Now, what we've heard from the Chads,
Okay.
that
the Chads.
Boys lacrosse players.
Oh.
He calls them
bros.
the Brads.
bros.
and Chads.
Chads and Brads.
Okay.
Chads and Brads.
Okay, the relaxed rose. Okay.
They say the girls lacrosse and boys lacrosse is a totally different game.
Yeah, it is.
Describe the difference. But I think it's a girls sport.
I think our game against Manual wasn't much different.
What's the difference? What's the big difference between girls lacrosse?
Physicality. They have like long sticks.
You don't have long sticks.
I think there's more. To chime in, I think there's more transition in boys lacrosse.
There's also
lacrosse girls
lots
lacrosse
of
is
different.
Why do the boys get long sticks and girls don't?
I mean, they can make contact with the body. We're not technically allowed to. They.
Great.
Hold on. I'm being no. Now listen. I'm being serious. Why? But she's not allowed to tackle
No, she's
somebody.
definitely not allowed to cross-check someone.
So did she get a foul?
No, because the refs were terrible.
Oh, you get cards.
Am I allowed to say that?
You get cards?
Yes.
Yellow cards, red cards, just
Yellow
like
cards,
soccer.
Yeah, green cards are warnings. Yeah.
There's no flags though in yours though.
Yeah, they pull flags.
Okay.
But they usually signals advantage. So if they pull a flag, they'll hold.
Okay.
It's not just as long of a flag as boys, though.
Okay.
The other difference is amount of paint to create.
I've helped.
Holy
That is the worst.
There's so many lines.
That's the worst part.
It's
It really
unbelievable.
honestly is.
All right. So did you play lacrosse in high school?
No, I did.
What? Okay. So what made you coach? You loved playing.
I just wanted.
That was the
something
next
to do.
step?
No, I don't know. I quit like my junior year when I went to Sacred Heart. I quit. So I don't know. I just wanted to do something.
Okay.
Actually, the Manual head coach hired me here at Eastern.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, Dean Walker brought me on here.
I gotcha. I don't want to rehash old feelings.
Okay.
I think it was my first or second year at Eastern.
Okay.
You guys were playing in the state championship,
Oh, with the lightning.
and there was
Here
a
we
lightning
go.
delay.
Yeah.
Let's rehash it.
Okay.
What happened? What was the score? Walk us through those times. I felt bad for you guys. I really was like, this is terrible.
It was terrible. It was. I think we were up by 3. I think it was like 6-3.
You were up.
We were up by 3. The storm started rolling in. We saw the lightning in the distance, and it was like, I think they closed the gap by 1. Then Maggie Foster
Yep.
got carded. She got carded, and then they came back and tied it because they scored 2 goals during the card, tied it.
Hold on. So if she gets a card, she has to sit out.
For 2 minutes.
That you were just saying that. Okay, got that.
Then I think that when they scored to tie it up, and the whole time we were sitting at the refs right there, we were like, "Are you gonna call this game?" That was the biggest state championship crowd I've seen in a long. I mean, there was thousands of people in the bleachers, and I was like, "At what point do we say this is like very dangerous?" You know? And they just kept ignoring me, and then magically Shaw ties the game up, and boom, they call the game for lightning.
How much time left?
4 minutes and like.
And you had
30.
to come back the next day.
Well, and what's crazy is in lacrosse, if the game is at 80% completion, and the game cannot be played that night, like you can't finish the game because of weather, it's technically a win, even in a state championship game. So had we been up by 1, like had they just called the game 30 seconds sooner, we would have won a state championship.
I am so
You know
sorry.
what
It was a work.
That's
try to
unbelievable.
sleep.
That's
like, literally, it
unbelievable.
was like sleep depriving.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, I literally was Maggie and all that whole senior class. They had prom
That is terrible.
Saturday after we had to play the 4 minutes. I mean, they were all like, "I'm not going." They
That's
wouldn't
terrible.
go. It was horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry
yeah.
for bringing that up. That's terrible on my
Did
part.
you hear about that with the Ole Miss this year, where they Ole Miss was playing Louisiana, Lafayette?
Oh, baseball.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Lafayette took the lead in the top of the 7th or something like that, and then a storm hit, and they didn't put any tarps on the field.
Let it roam.
And they let it just get so wet that they canceled the game,
Yeah.
and they had to revert back to the full inning, so Ole Miss won the game.
Ole Miss wins
No,
the game.
literally, like at 80%. So we
That's
would have
stupid.
won because they could. But also, just so everyone knows, that game there were 2 direct affiliations to Sacred Heart. On one of the referees on the field was 3 years removed, an alumni from Sacred Heart. So she had played against our seniors and with our seniors
Unbelievable.
on the field. And then the table ref was her dad, who was obviously a Shaw parent.
Right.
And then magically, this is what
That's
happens.
terrible.
It was crazy.
That's brutal.
I think people talked about that for years.
That's
I mean,
brutal.
Still, yeah,
That's
just,
brutal.
It doesn't matter. We're about to get one. We're gonna get one.
Well, you got them.
We
They're
got
already
'em.
on the schedule.
Yeah, we'll take that into our drive for tomorrow night.
Your girls said you have really big superstitions.
I do.
A lot of superstitions.
Yeah,
I
lots
guess.
of superstitions. Yeah.
Like coffee every day, and then
well, that's just like to get myself through the day. But
shoes
are my big one.
and your big one. Air Forces.
Yeah.
What's
well,
your-
sometimes.
What they said.
Crocs.
Always Air Forces.
No, that's during hockey. I heard Crocs during hockey. I did. Huh?
So what's the thing on Air Forces?
It's not necessarily that. It's just any shoe. Like I remember playing in a state quarterfinal game with Uggs on, and it was 90 degrees, and I had Uggs on because I wouldn't change. I had shorts and Uggs on.
Yeah, they said if you are wearing, let's say,
These
your
are my
shoes today,
shoes
these are
currently.
the
Those are
white
Air
ones with
Forces.
like some camo pattern on there.
This is them.
When you lose wearing those,
Yeah.
you will refuse to wear them again
Yeah.
to another
Yes,
game.
correct.
Superstitious.
And you'll
Yeah.
go buy a new pair.
I
new
should
pair of Air
send you a
Forces
picture
with
of my
different
closet with
designs.
my dirty Air Forces that
And you'll
have gone
never
through games.
and you'll never get the same one again.
No,
like
never.
this specific style is dead.
Can
to me
I tell you what
forever.
happened the other night? So when we played collegiate, I was wearing my UGG rain boots because it was cold. And then I changed my shoes, and at halftime, they were all talking. I looked at Bill, and I said, "Bill, I'm wearing different shoes." And he was like, "What? Why would you change?" And I was like, I was trying to get back into the Air Forces, but I really honestly felt guilty. I felt
respect
guilty.
that.
I felt really
that.
guilty.
I respect that.
It was my fault.
How do you feel about Jordans on a baseball field?
How do you feel about that?
Jordan's on a baseball field?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to wear them.
I mean, Jordan did play baseball.
You do make fun of me for my shoe choices. Shep always did. He'd be like, "Can you wear real shoes to a game?" Like, so I had
That was
to up
mostly
my
the
ante.
Crocs.
Crocs. I don't love the Croc look on
That
this.
was during hockey season.
Okay.
And it didn't. We
But I
couldn't
don't know
really
that-
change
Crocky.
our shoes
Crocky.
to make
Right.
things work
Field
out for
crocky.
us. Yeah.
Last tough question.
Oh my god.
That
What's
was bad.
what's your thoughts on the word tenacity?
I love it. That's one of my favorite words. Who did you interview to ask these questions? Sophie? Who was
We
it?
did not interview Sophie.
Okay.
We can't. Well, a
Tenacious?
true journalist.
Our
does it-
sources are yeah.
Our true journalist does it.
Tell
divulge
reveal.
the
Okay, yeah.
sources.
Tenacious. I like it. It's a
Tenacity. It
Good,
is a cool
tenacity.
name.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah.
Okay. Is that just how you describe?
No, it's what you need to possess to be
Okay.
able to be a good athlete.
Right. Not just lacrosse. Anything.
No, any athlete.
Okay.
Would you describe sprinting 40 yards across the field to body check someone blindsided
Tenacious.
as tenacious?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was matching intensity, which is another one of my favorite phrases.
I got you.
She
Touche.
was matching their intensity, and
Touche.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna be mad at me when I came off the field.
I honestly, Sophie, at one point in time, I literally was sitting there thinking, like, I think the only thing that's missing is a tackle, like a football tackle. I thought it was.
It was
coming.
getting violent out there.
I thought it
getting
was
violent.
coming, and I didn't care. So
There you go.
All right.
That's all I
I
got.
would say at one point I heard you say, yelling to your team on the field during that game, if they're not going to call anything, just start hitting them.
I did. I don't think I
like it.
said
Allegedly.
that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I
Allegedly.
think I might have said, if they're not going to call anything, then you can keep playing
Get
the way you
more
are.
physical. No,
Yeah.
you said more physical.
If I,
believe
yeah,
those are the
that's
words.
that. Yeah, I mean, I think I really honestly want to clip some of the film and send it to the referees because that happened to us one time against that specific team when we were in a tournament. They were like sending pictures of the bruises that we caused. I think that we should, but onward. We play them.
You don't
again.
like referees, do you? You don't like
I do.
referees.
Honestly, I do.
No, I
I'm
love
really
referees.
grateful.
This is a referee
yeah,
appreciation
it
show.
is,
We're gonna have
yeah.
that referee on here.
Two of my assistant coaches
Really?
are refs. Two of my assistant, Kevin and Bill are both refs.
I got you.
Yeah, they do. We do a good thing.
All right, on to the final segment.
You did good there. That was
You
good.
did good. You did a
Okay.
great job.
Well, thanks. I had to be the first woman to answer questions, but I feel like it's really weird because you're asking about coffee, and
Well, that's what we do.
We're
We
just
ask
trying
Phil
to
questions.
dive into.
I want to know who knows this about me though. And tenacity
doesn't
is
seem
like
like-
an inside source.
All right.
We're very good at what we do.
Oh, okay.
We are the number one.
All right, so the final
sports
segment-
podcast
in
is-
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
High school sports.
All right,
So
so
the final segment is the Mount Rushmore segment.
Okay.
All right, we go around.
this?
Everybody picks one thing. All right, so you got to prepare one thing. We'll go in it whatever order you'd like. And inspired by the recent week that we've had, our Mount Rushmore this week is the coldest you have ever been at a sporting event.
Yep. Your
No,
mother
we-
is raising
Yeah,
her
she's
hand.
ready.
She knows.
Grace first.
No, I don't want to go first. I'm not good at this one. I'm trying to think. Go ahead, Graham.
Coldest you've
You
ever
want me,
been?
you want me
Yeah.
to go first?
I'll go first. You want me to go first?
You can go
Go.
ahead.
Okay, I went to a Bengals game. I think it was 2000. I think I looked it up. It was like 2012. We played the Broncos, and we were in the club section, so we had the cushion seats. They were completely frozen all the way through. So it was like sitting on an ice block. But it was really cool because there was snow everywhere, and every time the Bengals scored, it was like confetti.
Yeah.
And they did like the snow angels
Yeah.
and stuff at their touchdowns. It was awesome. That was the coolest I've
That's
ever been.
cool.
I have one. I got one.
Okay.
I'm good. This was easy. I went to Chicago with Bluegrass in November, and it was snowing. So there was snow on the ground. We were still playing on turf fields, and it was like that wind chill and the wind in Chicago. Yeah, that was the coldest for sure.
Brutal.
That was brutal. We went to Dick's and bought all new gear.
Brutal.
Like the head coach
Chicago's
of
always
Bluegrass.
the coldest.
Yeah.
It creeps up on you.
That's exactly what happened.
You get stuck between
I
the
got
buildings
so
in
much
downtown.
good gear though, because Pat had to buy me brand new gear. I was like, if you want me to stay here, you have to buy me all new things. So he did.
Graham.
All right. My freshman year in college, we went for spring break. We were not going to stay in Kentucky and play. We were going to Texas to play in a spring break tournament. Thought it was going to be warmer.
Yeah.
We show up in our second game there. It is a blizzard. We're playing baseball. I go up to the plate with no intention of swinging the bat. It was so cold. The game ended when someone on the other team hit a ball into the outfield and no one could find it. True story. They called the game. The game was over. No one knew where the ball was. They said, this is probably not good to play baseball. And we drove home on a charter
Brutal.
bus through a blizzard that night
That's
right
a
after
good
the game.
2015, I believe it was Southern versus Central Hardin. I brought just a BP top, a long sleeve, and it was the coldest I've ever been. I ordered dugout jackets on the way home because it was so cold. That in the wind, it was bad. It was bad.
Well, this week alone, Friday, when the boys played Sayre, I mean, there was a 40-mile-an-hour clip that whole time. And then Monday wasn't much better. They were all cold. But
we have a guest submission.
We have a guest submission. Yeah, so my dad, and we'll have to add in the recording. We'll have to get in Pellizzeri to add in the recording. But my dad was at the Freezer Bowl, the AFC Championship game in the 70s with the Bengals versus the Chargers. And I'll let him tell you the story, and we'll add that in right here.
Hi, this is Rick Schepper. Joe asked me to give you my recollection of the coldest sporting event in my history. And that would be January 10th, 1982, Riverfront Stadium, AFC Championship game, Bengals hosting the Chargers. The air temperature that morning was 26 below zero, and the wind chill of 27-mile-an-hour winds made it feel like minus 59 degrees. My wife and I went to the game, and some of my memories are that the Enquirer, the Cincinnati paper, reported a list of do's and don'ts. And one of the things they said don't do was don't wear contact lenses because they could freeze to your eyeballs. We found out later that that was inaccurate, but either way, we did not wear our contacts. We wore glasses instead. Another thing was they said to use the Cincinnati Enquirer as an insulator between your feet and the concrete underneath, which would feel like you were standing on a block of ice without some kind of insulation. So we took 2 copies of the Sunday Morning Enquirer, which is the thickest newspaper of the week, and used that to stand on or keep our feet on. The only place in the stadium that was heated were the restrooms. And once I went into the restroom, I had left my glasses on my face, and as soon as I walked into the warm air, they fogged up. So I took them off and put them in my coat pocket, and after I finished my business in the men's room, I walked outside and I took my glasses out of my pocket and put them on my face, and the fog that was on the glasses instantly froze. And so I had to take my driver's license out of my wallet to use as an ice scraper to scrape the ice off of my eyeglasses. They sold beer, and we did buy draft beers. And as soon as they poured the beer and you paid for it and you walked away from the concession stand, the head on the beer instantly froze. So the only way to drink your beer was to chip through the ice with a pocket knife or your car keys. So you would poke a hole in the ice and sip the beer out, and then it would freeze again almost instantly. And so you'd have to do that every time you took a drink from your beer. There were 4 college-age young men who were seated in our section about 10 rows down in front of us who were attending the game naked from the waist up. 3 of them were hospitalized after the game or somewhere near the end of the game. And the 4th one, I think, gave up and put his coat on. There was a man who sat behind us who was a Chargers fan, and he flew into Cincinnati the morning of that game. And when he boarded the plane in San Diego, the temperature there was something like 68 degrees above zero. And when he got off the plane in Cincinnati, it was 59 below zero with the wind chill. So that's like 110 degree, I think. No, it's more than that. Anyway, when he arrived at the game, he was not dressed for the weather. He was dressed for a cool San Diego day. He had blue jeans, sneakers. He was wearing basically what amounted to a Chargers warm-up windbreaker. Maybe had a quilted lining, maybe not, I don't know, and a ball cap. The fans of Cincinnati loaned him mittens, a scarf, a blanket, and a ski cap, because everybody had extras to pass around if needed. So the man was eternally grateful, but he left at halftime. The Bengals ended up winning the game. It was 27-17, I think, was the final score. A couple notes about the game where the Bengals offensive line went sleeveless during the game to try to intimidate the Chargers. Apparently it worked. Jim Breach was the kicker for the Bengals. He remarked that kicking the football that day was akin to kicking a bowling ball because it was frozen. The balls were all frozen. So after the game, we walked about 6 blocks directly against the wind. We had our faces covered. We would walk about 10 steps, and then we would peek out from under our covered face to see if we were still going in the right direction and didn't wander into traffic or anything like that. Eventually, we made it back to our car, and my car started on the first try, which was pretty amazing, I think. But anyway, it was a great day. It was a great memory. I remember a lot of details, but that was the coldest I've ever been at a sporting event.
So, closing up the show, we got any add-ins? Anybody got anything to throw in here?
I am glad we have broken the mold with women's athletics today and got a guest. Yeah. The best women's athletics at Eastern, I would say, obviously. So,
it is. Don't do that face.
Right. We need.
I would have to say it's
historically
it is one of our best athletic teams. Correct.
I would like to be the spokesperson for them and say we need more girls represented, in our podcast, with the guest and.
We'll have to do that.
Just some more respect.
Thank you for your serious tone.
Your wife's going to be happy.
The tone changed drastically at the end of this podcast.
Well, I feel like I need to be the one that says it to you guys.
He wants some brownie points.
You male chauvinists over here.
As the most woke of all the podcast hosts, I appreciate your input.
Yes, you're welcome. Yes.
I value it.
Riley, I'm standing with you guys. Just want you to let
you
know.
You got anything to add?
No.
All right. All I got to add is let's not mess up this undefeated streak. There's 2 people in here that got some big games on Friday. Happy Patty's Day to everybody, and
so you don't get penalties. You did.
Good job.